Alright, so I've been getting questions about one very specific topic a lot lately. A lot of people want to know, what do I do with my hydrangeas after I've rooted them and we're headed into fall? What do I do to protect them through the winter? And most importantly, they want to know, can I bring them indoors and grow them inside the house through the winter? So that's the project we're going to start today, and we're going to use those hydrangeas that we just rooted over the last few months. Now there's three things that we need to do in order to get this all set up and working right. The first thing is we need a grow tent, and we're going to use my Mars Hydro 3x3 grow tent that I've had outside for a while. I've got to tear this thing down. We've got to bring it in the house and set it up inside a room that my wife will allow me to set it up inside of. The next thing we need to do is figure out what kind of lighting that we're going to use. And I've got the perfect solution. So you guys know that I love this ViparSpectra company. They have been providing me with just awesome LED lights for indoor growing over the past year. And they came through again for us. They provided their XS1000 grow light. This thing is only 120 watts, and they say it will grow plants in a 3x3 grow tent. So we're going to set this light up inside the grow tent, and we're going to see how this does in there with our hydrangea. The final thing we're going to need is a light timer, because we want to set this light up so that it's on a summertime schedule. We want these plants to think that they've got plenty of lights, they're growing on through the summer, and there's no thought of even slowing down for the winter. Now, there's a little bit of a difference between house plants and landscape plants. Landscape plants are grown outdoors, and so they're in full sun or even partial sun, something like that. However, this little 120 watt light is going to have to provide enough light in order to grow a hydrangea indoors. So we're going to find out if this works. If this works out, and this little 120 watt LED grow light works in growing a hydrangea indoors, we're going to be in hog heaven, guys, because we'll be able to grow all kinds of landscape plants and house plants indoors with very minimal wattage. Think about that, 120 watts, putting full spectrum light down on our plants, giving them everything that they need for, like I said, 120 watts, like 2 incandescent bulbs. That's nothing. That's very little power usage and very little heat expenditure from the light in that tent. I'm really excited about this combination. Now, if you guys want to check out this light, I'll put a link down in the description below. You can go check them out on Amazon. All right, so we're inside the house. We've got our grow tent set up here, and like I said, it's a 3x3 grow tent. We've got our light set up. I brought one hydrangea inside because I just want to save some room for some other plants. We'll see how things go as we grow through the winter, but we've got 9 square foot of space here. One little hydrangea. We'll see how landscape plants do, hydrangeas anyway, inside under these grow lights through the winter. Now, I'm really excited about this ViparSpectra XS1000 that they sent me. The reason is it's such a small light compared to some of these grow lights. And here's the thing, it only puts out 120 watts of energy, but it provides full spectrum light, and they say it will light up a 3x3 grow tent. It will give us 9 square foot of growing space. Now, that's going to be for house plants, vegetative growth on plants. It probably, I'm guessing, I could be wrong, it probably won't fruit a lot of plants in a grow tent like this, although we should see flowers on some plants. Our petunias bloom very well under just fluorescent bulbs, but I'm excited to see this because if 120 watts can light up an entire tent in here, you can have so much growing space for such little expenditure per month of power. And it doesn't produce that much heat. I mean, we're talking 2 60 watt incandescent bulbs, guys, and this is LED full spectrum light that will last for, shoot, 8 to 10 years depending on how you use the thing. All right, so I want to try and give you the full feel for this when I turn this light on. I've got it all hooked up to the timer. We'll talk about that timer here in just a second too, and how many hours I want to leave this thing on. But I want to get this thing ready here, and we're just going to turn this tent on and show you just how much this little light illuminates this grow tent. All right, we got this thing set up and ready. I'm going to plug this guy in. Let's see just how much this lights up. Dang, that sucker really cranks. There it is, 120 watts, and I was only kidding you guys. Check this out. So this is the light. It's got the dimmer over here on the side. This is the light on a 25% setting right here. Let's crank this thing all the way up. Dang, that sucker gets bright. Look at that now. It's hard to tell. This camera doesn't pick it up as well. That thing just maxes out. Let me turn this down all the way. The other cool thing about this is you can turn it all the way down and it just turns off eventually. But let's turn it on first here. Look at that. It lights up that tent, man. You could grow pothos all day long. Peace lilies, all kinds of plants under that kind of light. Let's crank it up. 100%, 120 watts. I'd say this thing is doing pretty dang well. Alright, so let's talk about this light timer here. This is just it's a Titan Controls. I think I spent, I don't know, 30 bucks on this thing. You can get them for 10 bucks, but I want a good one. I've had this for a few years now, but you know, these things are not hard to come by. You can find them at any big box store, but you really should have one when you're growing plants indoors. And the reason is you want to have this thing on some kind of an automated system where you're not having to turn lights on or off every day, twice a day. So what I use is a 16-hour on time setting for all my house plants, any landscape plants like this hydrangea right here, or anything else that I'm going to be growing in here, because in our area in the summertime, the sun is out in the peak part of the summer for a little over 14 hours a day. I think it's like 14 and a half hours a day of sunlight. 16 hours, and I tried setting these tents up with 14 hours before, and I feel like the plants just aren't as vigorous with that lighting, with the artificial light, as they are in the summertime outdoors. And so I turned it up to 16, and that seems to be the sweet spot. You could do more, but then you're paying more power, and I found that it wasn't really that beneficial. So you need a timer. I like to set it on 16 hours a day, and that does everything I want it to do. That's what's grown all these indoor plants that I've showed you guys in previous videos. 16-hour daylight. Now this is the part you guys were really wanting to see. A lot of you asked about these hydrangeas. Can I bring them inside and grow them on through the winter and have them actually grow and bloom and, you know, keep them alive and vibrant through the winter? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out if this 120 watts is enough. Now, this is about, I would say, probably close to 5 foot up from that plant. Maybe 4.5 foot, somewhere in that range. In fact, let me just grab a tape measure. Alright, so let's measure this out exactly for you guys. So from the top of the pot there to the light, we are looking at 52.5 inches, 52 inches. So 4 foot 4 inches. Now here's why I set it at that. I've got my light meter here to measure par, and when I have it this high up, I get a nice even par all the way around the tent. A par that is not really high, but it's in a range that will grow so many houseplants so well. I won't try to belabor this too much, but we'll just go ahead and get the meter out and show you. So when I'm directly under this light, right where the plant is, I'm getting readings of 132 par when that 120 watts is maxed out. Over on the edge, it's very similar, 130. Over in the back corners, we're talking another 130. So it's pretty even all the way around. Now 130 par is not a lot of light, but it's more than adequate for houseplants. And if nothing else proves that to you, I'm going to show you what we've got going on over here. These are all of those pothos that we started last winter indoors. I've got them in this window where the sun doesn't hardly ever hit, maybe for an hour a day. In the winter it doesn't hit it at all, and we've got no overhead light in this room. However, these things have been growing beautifully and healthy and just growing like crazy. They're coming all the way down the table here. Anyway, they're growing like crazy all over this area, and there's hardly any light. In fact, let's just check the par right now. So there's with that light off, so it's not actually falsely illuminating this area. This is how much light I've been getting through here all through the winter and the summers. And when I've got the monitor over here by the plants, I am getting 4 par. Here, we'll face it towards the window so it's more accurate. Get it up into there. There we go. 8 par. There it is, guys. So it doesn't take much to grow many houseplants at all. So if we're getting 130 par down at the base of that tent, you can imagine what we could be growing in here. Now the last thing I'm going to do here is just add a little bit of fertilizer. Now this is my granular fertilizer that I use outdoors on my outdoor landscape plants. I'm trying something a little bit different this time. I've never done this before. In the past, I've always watered these house plants with a liquid fertilizer and mixed it up every time, but it does get tedious when you end up, with a lot of indoor house plants. And so I thought, since this is a landscape plant anyway, why don't we just fertilize it with the slow release fertilizer, and all I have to do is come in here and water it every once in a while. I don't have to worry about mixing up fertilizer. We'll see how that works out as well, but I think we're going to learn a lot from this little project here. We've got our hydrangea down in there, we've got our fertilizer, the lighting set, 16 hours a day, beautiful little tent. We'll give it some time and I'll come back and show you guys when something's happened here. Oh, and just one more thing, don't worry, we will be adding more plants to this tent as we go. So it'll be about the hydrangea mainly, that's kind of the main focus of this right now, but we'll go over some other stuff as we go. We'll fill this whole thing out. I just want to see how this light does with that hydrangea as it starts warming up now. That hydrangea is not out in the cold anymore. It should start growing. It might take a few weeks to get something going, but it's got some nice buds down in there that are ready to just blast off. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you're learning something. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to follow along and see what happens to this little hydrangea. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.